I do. I have to make my boogie apology, my usual tour of duty of apologizing. That I'm really fucked up and busy right now. Like, so I'm buying a car, and all of the stress of moving and trying to figure out job situations and basically all my tenants just basically turning out to be assholes. I'm like, every ounce of stress that could possibly hit me yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my fucking life right now is a mess. So I apologize that getting episodes out is difficult. And I know you are planning on going on vacation.
Yeah.
Give any details about that?
We've had a vacation planned for. Actually, this probably won't go out until after we're coming on our way back anyway. Where we're going to be going down to Hilton Head, just because we got family going. So and they were kind of willing to take us along for a discounted price, basically.
Nice.
Kind of group funded trip, so we couldn't turn it down. We haven't had a real vacation since probably the year we got married. Probably since our honeymoon, because we just haven't had the money. But yeah, it should be fun. It would basically just be like 7 straight days of beach and pool time.
Nice. Yeah, my one coworker said the same thing. He was like, "Yeah, I'm just taking the kids on. I'm not even driving. That's how lazy he wants to be."
Yeah.
So I mean, like, that sounds really fucking nice about now.
Yeah, we're leaving. We're leaving in what is it? It's 8:00 now, so we're leaving in 6 hours.
Oh wow, Jesus.
So, yeah, just gonna finish up once we're done the podcast, I'll do a quick live stream so I can satisfy the Twitch overlords, and then go to bed for like 2 hours before I pack the car and head on out.
You must maintain your partnership or lose it. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I just got affiliate. I don't want to lose it because I haven't streamed enough already.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing. It's like, oh yeah, you're basically a contract worker, even though you get none of the benefits of that.
Thankfully, I don't think I have to really stream like super consistently. I think it was just like you have to hit this many hours streamed and all that to get there, and then once you're in, you're in. I don't think I have to worry about, as long as I don't stop streaming entirely. I don't think I lose affiliate status. Okay. So on the bright side.
Yeah, Twitch is just really weird with their policies ever since they enacted that whole "we're gonna give everyone affiliate" thing. It just never made sense to me. They were like, the road to partnership. Why are you having a road to partnership? That seems odd.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about going to D Live like Augie did, or going to Mixer, because I actually had a Mixer account back when it was Beam.
Yeah.
But now my Mixer account is like locked. I can't change anything, even though I have my Microsoft account linked. It keeps telling me I need to link a Microsoft account to make any changes. But I've contacted their support 3 times in the last month, and I have heard nothing back yet. So, yeah, I've got old branding and stuff on the channel it's not worth it. But I've got like 33,000 sparks or something just from having an old channel that existed.
Yeah, so
I've got a whole bunch of currency for free.
Sparks?
It's basically bits.
It's basically bits. I thought that it was like, because when I was first on it, because I had got on just when it was Beam, like it just stopped being it, because I heard about the buyout by or the name change, and then I think Microsoft bought it out after the fact.
Yeah.
And I had like a shit ton of these sparks, and I'm just like, well, I don't think these are actual currency, so I've got an account with like, well, actually, I'll take a peek in it right now. I'm like, it's a fucking lot.
Yeah, and Mixer's a little weird. Because they have like multiple, it's almost like a microtransaction palooza, because like they actually have multiple currencies. Because they have sparks and they have embers.
I only have 782 sparks. What the fuck?
Maybe you just donated them in a frustrated blitz.
Maybe.
I'm actually considering just doing that at one point, just going through, since I'm not going to use Mixer anyway, just going through and just donating 1,000. I'm guessing 1,000 is probably like $1 or something like that. But still, just donating a whole bunch of sparks to a whole bunch of people.
That's weird.
Just parody Mr. Beast or something. Like, I would have to do it like a parody, though. I'm not going to, like... Yeah.
So, I had an idea for a Mr. Beast video. Totally want to do this one, but I don't have the money because I'm poor. I want him to do something where he goes, here's $5. Whoever can make the most money out of this $5, and you can't cut any deals, wins something crazy like $100,000 or something like that.
Oh.
and make it like a several week long challenge. Like, you got 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Whoever can turn this into the most money, no deal cutting, you get 100G. Like, even if it was a YouTuber challenge, that would be so fucking entertaining.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But yeah. So I was actually going off of that because I just thought of like it was the whole FaZe Clan thing, because Mr. Beast did that thing at the FaZe Clan house.
Mm-hmm.
So they just apparently got either a bought out or a majority buyout from Offset, and I'm just like, okay, I'm slightly petty here, but I don't know why anyone would ever touch that fucking shitty organization. That you got underage drinking, you got shitty people, you got fucking abusive people throwing parties with people that probably shouldn't be the fuck around there. They have no respect for money, and the whole fucking organization is a bro house. Why would you want to touch that? Other than the pro team. Oh.
It's the name.
It is their brand name, but
the funny thing is the FaZe brand name really doesn't mean that much. I mean, in like the grand scheme of things, I mean, who are they really impactful and important to right now? And most of their audience was built from gaming, right? And how many of them are even still currently like active gamers? Like,
no, I'm telling you, dude, they're huge. Like, okay, this is a whole thing with the Tfue situation. Is that Tfue was basically kind of launched by FaZe. And I'm of the camp that's like basically like, it's not the team that's a big deal. It's just like you said, it's the name. Basically, like, there's this stupid thing about these clans, these OG clans that were Call of Duty ones originally, where like all you do is you basically join a team and you just leech all of the followers from that team who are like, oh, new member, and then they never watch you again. Whereas, like, those big namers like 100 Thieves, FaZe Optic, those guys, you actually get a following.
Right.
And FaZe launches careers. They don't facilitate them, they launch them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I do give credit for the fact that they can do that, but that team as a whole is a fucking cesspool of basically reeking of machinima contracts.
That's all I meant is their audience is retained from before, like the actual like FaZe guys at the top. They're not still gamers, is what I was saying. As much they're like all those guys seem like they make mostly like vlog content now. Yeah. And then the newer guys are the ones that are gamers. Like, it's almost like they've hired new gamers to do the gaming for them. Yeah, that's all I meant. So that's what I'm saying. Is like the name is like the name represents what they think is a bigger brand, but it doesn't really represent half of what it used to represent. Yeah, and I'm like, that team is just like, it's filled with like this weird bro vibe where like if you join our team, we're gonna do everything we can to encourage you to move into the house. It's like, why? What the fuck is so special about this house? Yeah. Almost makes you think it's more of a, I mean, I get there's probably like a team aspect to it. Like, well, hey, if you're on the team and you're in the house, we can do team building exercises, like butt chugging together. But at the same time, there's probably an element of controlling as well. I was just about to say, I'm pretty sure it's a psychological manipulation. Because if you're a nobody, and somebody hands you a contract that says sign over half of what you're going to make to us, and then they go, okay, well, we could also do a 60% where you can basically come move in rent-free, but you have to like meet these certain obligations. I'm like, fuck me as an adult, I'd take that deal. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a big fucking deal. And so when you realize when you move there, you're getting screwed over because you've got a career and somebody with rationale talks to you, you look at it and go, shit, I'm kind of stuck here. They kind of manipulated me to stay here. Yeah. Yeah. That team, good for them. They got their fucking big name brand finally. But the fucking Offset, you're an idiot. Get the fuck out of that deal, man. It's a shitty team. It's a shitty organization. Speaking of manipulation, you see Trisha Paytas?
Oh. So
Her googly eyes.
googly eyes. Now, okay. I understand that she was a stripper back in the day.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, you didn't? No, that's a big
No.
deal with her. She used to be a stripper back in the day, and that's why she did YouTube, is because basically somebody came up and said, hey, you know you can make better money, you don't have to strip with your body on YouTube. And that's a huge reason why she did YouTube. I don't remember who it was that told her that, but yeah, that was I think that's what the botched boob job comes from after the fact. And I'm just like, woman, look, I get you're proud of your body. Don't get me wrong. Bad boob jobs happen. I'm not going to sit there and just be like, oh, you're an idiot for getting that boob job. But why would you put it out there?
Well, the thing is, she was a big girl, too. She already had big boobs. I don't know if that's a recent boob job. Think about it like this. If she got a boob job when she was a stripper, then gained a bunch of weight, they might have changed shape and position.
Yeah.
So that might have been an old boob job and not a botched boob job. Because those things, that's the kind of thing that requires upkeep. But either way, you know she knows that that's not how they normally are supposed to look. She's got to know that those positions are off and all. Like, she's got to know that it doesn't look right. How long until she uploads a video of her crying on her kitchen floor about the hateful roasting? I showed you my titties, and now you're making fun of them.
I'm proud of my body, and these people, they shame me for being proud.
No, but for real, like, I mean, I get there's some people that are taking it way too far with the jokes, but she's asking for it. She's done this so many times where she does something that she knows she's gonna get crap for, and then complains about getting crap for it. Like, she has plenty of young people in her audience that's just saw her tatas.
It's that right there. Why does YouTube allow her to be like, oh yeah, we're still gonna recommend you to underage, and I'm specifically going under 18. Like, she was a stripper. She openly admits that. She kind of whores herself out on tour. Not necessarily like stripping or anything like that, but like the provocateur nature, like the touring. If you look into like how she goes about it, it's really, really skanky.
Yeah.
And then her Patreon is basically it's I think a half nude or half lewd. It's basically a porn hub basically, but monthly subscription. And I'm just like, if I were YouTube, I'd just be like, all right, we're going to categorize you like all the other ones and just kind of put you in the not recommended anymore. But I don't know, she still fucking somehow got like YouTube around the finger. I can't figure it out. Oh my God, though.
Trisha Paytas, more like Trisha Tatas. There we go.
Yeah, I got no real opinion about her because I'm like, I'm in that mixed bag camp where it's like, she's not an idiot.
Yeah.
But she's kind of fucking an idiot.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's all it is for me. Like, for the most part, I could care less. I just think she's one of those people that it's funny to make fun of because she puts her own foot right in the crap, and then complains about stepping in it. Like, but she saw it coming.
I say it's deliberate. It's every move she does is deliberate. It's just. The thing that drives me nuts is she went local territory where she went, so I did this to get the attention. I got some attention, but it wasn't really enough. So she chases the next rush as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. And then, like, the big terrible thing about local is, like, you don't recognize it. So the first couple times it was like, oh, I did this intentionally. But now it just feels like she's addicted to that bump, that social media bump she gets. So she just keeps doing it over and over and over again. At that point, it's like, well, you're not really smart anymore. You're kind of an idiot now. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think it is. I think she's kind of hit that fucking bump, plus other bumps, probably too many times now. And she's just like, I need more.
Speaking of kind of being an idiot, man, these transitions are really just working tonight.
Oh my God.
Rewired Soul, man.
Okay. Real quick. I'm already annoyed entirely at Rewired Soul. How old is the guy? Do you have any idea?
30s. I'm pretty sure it's late 30s, but I
He
can't remember for
talks
sure.
like a fucking boomer. Bro, I'm just trying to understand, like, like I wasn't criticizing you. I was just trying to understand. Like, no, you know what the fuck exactly you're doing. Stop trying to be his fucking friend. You fucked up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Why are you debating this?
34? Looks like it's 30. Yeah, 34 years old. According to famous birthdays. How accurate that is, I'm not sure. But yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it's... Oh,
that stream was a fucking nightmare. And honestly, for a moment there, I was sitting there listening, and I'm like, oh man, he's actually kind of got Bo Black's kind of, or not Bo Black's, Diorio. He's kind of got him on the ropes a little bit. Like Diorio's kind of like not realizing that he's fucking with him, and then he kind of picked up halfway through, and he was like, oh okay, I get what this guy's fucking strategy is. I'm just gonna keep shitting on him now.
Well, from what I've seen from Diorio and DMs and stuff, first of all, I DM'd him earlier that day, and he told me he thought he was gonna play the "I'm your buddy" card, and he totally called it. I think most of the time Nick was like in that first, I'd say half, like he got him like as soon as that first 5 minutes, like Nick said, the first 5 minutes, the conversation was kind of over because Chris kind of like completely contradicted some things and also at the same time agreed with some things that Nick said. And then later in the conversation kind of turned it into something completely different. And I think that's what Nick was waiting for. He was waiting for Chris to kind of like backtrack or contradict himself. Cuz he kind of seemed like he was just like, okay, where's he going with this? I think that's what it was. It wasn't that he was on the ropes or that he was he was Nick is smart. Nick even did you watch any of the like SFTPs or anything that happened since then?
No, I was only able to make it 30 minutes into the debate because I was losing my shit on Rewired. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, like, dude, you missed the end. The end of it was actually really good because he kind of went kind of hard at him at the end of the debate.
I'll probably throw that up at some point.
Because like I said, there was like a good 30 minutes or something where it was mild conversation, where it was almost like Nick was just like, "What is he doing? There's got to be a reason he's playing this. This doesn't make any sense the way he's doing this." Nick has said on at least the one SFTP that he used like 2 points out of I think it was 7 that he had. He had a whole like Discord or doc or something written up.
Oh yeah.
With points to bring up, and he only used 2 of them in the debate.
I mean, because he didn't even need 2 of them.
Yeah.
You just need to laugh at his fucking face.
Exactly, because he actually brought up examples of where Chris has kind of like been contradictory what he's talking about. I mean, Chris has a massive issue with, first of all, being a hypocrite. Second of all, assuming things, and then stating them as fact. They're both massive issues, and it's like he states them as. So here's what I think. Now he states it as like the Bobby Burns thing. He flat out accused him of getting in a car accident because he was on drugs or drunk or something. I can't remember which one it was. It was either drug or drugs. I think it was he accused him of being drunk and driving, and that's what caused the accident. But he assumes that from a freaking Instagram post.
Yeah, I'm like,
what? And he like flat out said, "Nah, man," and he accused him right after.
Yeah. So there is a really pretty bad doublespeak that seems to be going around these days, which is that, I'm not taking this out of context, but here, let me draw an entire opinion as if it is in the context that I want it to be in when I say what I'm about to say. And that's all I could get from that, and I couldn't take it. I was like, I'm trying to, you're rephrasing the argument to make it into your way. That's my fucking tactic. Why are you taking my fucking tactic? Like, I don't want to listen to you speak about what you want this conversation to be, and Diorio wouldn't have none of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta ask too, by the way. Yeah, Diorio said he's only planning on doing this shit for a year. Why? Can we yell at him, please? I want 2 years out of this guy.
I think, from what Nick has said, it's because he graduates shortly after that year period or around that year-end period. Right. And I even saw him the other day. So there was something with YouTube something that happened with YouTube or something where he said if he made a video on it, he would be blacklisted from his future career. So I think it's a matter of just the career he wants like he has fun doing this, but if he goes into like, and there's a lot of people, it seems like, in tech industry where if they're involved in doing internet culture stuff like this, it can kind of cause problems with their job.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna name names, but there's at least one person I know of that does quite a bit of internet work, and they've told me that they know people that have, because of stuff they do online, have had to either shut down all their stuff or get fired because work found out that they were doing it.
Does it rhyme with Quenty Queen?
No.
Okay. Just gotta check that one.
I don't have a connection to him. It's somebody else entirely, but...
No, I kind of figured.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just think that Diorio has a little bit more time on here because Medicare is kind of washed out now at this point. Where it's like, I don't think Medicare's sitting there anymore and saying, yeah, I'm going to keep fucking doing this shit. I'm going to keep blowing my fucking foot off because YouTube's such a rewarding place. I mean, he's just like, yeah, I'm kind of done because he knows he can't get anywhere, so somebody else needs to take up the mantle. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but if we lose the iDubbbz Filthy Frank crew, and then the next thing I lose is the Medicare thing, I'm like, I need somebody to keep their jackassery going. I need that fixed somewhere, and I can't find it anywhere. And Diorio is the only one who's like, give me 3 days and I will burn out a fucking video that's just as hard hitting as most of the Cabos videos that he makes.
Yeah, it's funny because like as much as I enjoy doing like the more drama heavy stuff, just because it's more fun because there's almost always somebody putting their foot in their mouth, but acting like they're not. So there's almost always somebody you can go after in some way. But the problem is YouTube doesn't like that. As much as that stuff is easy to get into for me, like the Suzy Lou video, that one was like super easy for me to just get invested in digging into all the information. Boonk, I don't like Boonk, and that made his garbage behavior made it easy to do research on. Like those kind of examples, like that kind of stuff. It's so easy to like dig into that stuff because they already pissed me off, and it's not necessarily why I'm doing it, but it's like, okay, I know what you're saying or doing right here in this clip is garbage based on something else. So it makes it easier for me to invest myself in finding where they contradict themselves or whatever.
Right.
But when you do too much of that, people start identifying you as that guy.
Oh yeah.
And that's not what I want to do primarily. I just like making funny stuff. So I think if it wasn't for the fact that YouTube will treat all of your channels based on one of them, I might make a second channel to do more of that like direct, harsher criticism. But
I already decided that I'm doing a cooking channel when I do my YouTube stuff. Once that gets a decent amount of subs, then I'm unleashing Balin, the fucking troglodyte. But no, I was gonna say that Boom thing was actually really interesting because I thought Leon Lush's video on that as well was like kind of really good that you said that, because I was like, oh yeah, that's actually kind of really explanatory. When I saw Leon's video, then I saw yours, because I watched yours first and I was like, okay, I can see where he's making the goofs and the gas, but then I'm like, oh no, this puts in perspective when you can sit there and you can see the gimmick, and then you can kind of see the redemption arc. Whereas for most of these other people, it's like there's no fucking redemption at all right now, but there's a gimmick, and we got
because he was still kind of like radio silent. I don't think he'd even announced his new personality when I made my video. He still hadn't announced that, or anything, I don't think, publicly.
Yeah, no, I think you're still kind of riding the whole I'm sad because my Instagram got banned.
Yeah, no, and the interview he did with Larry Charles for that show that I was talking about probably happened like a year prior, I would imagine, based on how these things typically go. Between editing and production and all that, it was probably like 6 months to a year prior. So it's probably before he even went to rehab or whatever. Yeah,
I think if you looked at his tattoos, they were definitely different back then. I think that was I mean, granted, this was a while ago, so I don't remember, but he didn't have as many face tats at the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know he's kind of, I think at the end of Leon's video, he kind of said that he seems like he's kind of back to his old character a little bit, but hopefully it's just an act this time, and he's not actually doing the stuff that he was doing before. Because I mean, I've criticized the guy, and I think the guy's content and behavior is scummy. But obviously, I don't want the guy to deal with anything serious, and I'm hoping he gets I wouldn't wish serious drug addiction on anybody.
So, okay, well, that being kind of said, did you ever see Plain Potatoes when he was doing his thing?
Oh yeah.
What was your opinion on that guy?
That guy was just a douchebag.
See,
he wasn't even on drugs.
But that's what killed me. Is I'm like,
not that we know of.
I saw Boonk, and I just had that visceral, just fuck you reaction, because I'm just like, fake or not, this is just you are actively thieving on people. Like that's it. And you're acting like, oh no, I'm not stealing, or I'm not being a burglar right now. I'm clowning on him, and I'm like, it felt like the exact inverse from Plain Potatoes, where it's just, I'm just clowning on y'all taking it way too seriously. But I could understand that Plain Potatoes was like, oh yeah, he definitely was being a dick. He deserved to kind of get some retribution. But I'm like, I don't know, man. In the grand scheme of things, I'm like, I feel like Boonk got away scot-free, and Plain Potatoes got the fucking hammer on him. That just it felt so inverted.
Well, that's the thing. Here's the thing. Boonk did have prosecution and stuff, right? And he had plenty of people criticizing him at the time. There wasn't a whole lot of criticism, I don't think, going on with Plain Potatoes. I don't think there was a whole lot. I think it was mostly like Eddie Burback, wasn't it? I didn't see many other videos about it.
No, there were a few in the commentary circuit, but not many. Okay. Yeah, there were definitely
his was
less.
the only one I saw. But Boonk was a huge target.
Yeah, because Boonk had been doing it for about like a year at that point, whereas Plain Potatoes had maybe like a 2 or 3 month run, and then he was gone. Yeah,
but that's the thing is Boonk. It's a matter of how many commentary channels and how aware everyone is of what's going on at the time.
Yeah.
With Boonk, he kind of just happened to. He actually benefited, I think, from it. Whereas Plain Potatoes, part of the problem is it's also a matter of like, Boonk is acting wild and crazy, right? But Plain Potatoes, he was directly just harassing people. Like they would ask him to stop, and he wouldn't. Boonk, all his stuff was like, he does something and then leaves. And it might make a mess and people have to clean up, which is still douchey, still stealing stuff, still breaking stuff. But it wasn't like he sat there in their face and repeatedly doing exactly the opposite of what they want them to do. And like specifically just doing it to piss them off. Like his whole point was to piss somebody off. Boonk was just doing something stupid and crazy.
I gotta disagree. Like, granted, it's been many months removed from when I watched Plain Potato stuff, but here's the thing. I recognized the style. I recognized it. He would fuck with people, yeah. But here's the thing. The restaurant ones were the most egregious, but anything outside of the restaurant ones, it was like, if you just didn't talk to him, he'd make a couple more attempts, but then he'd kind of drop it or try to move to the next person. It was just, like, somebody kept, like, it's the idea of, like, you gotta get the last word in. I gotta be the one who's right, because I said the last word. I recognized that. And it never felt like he was sitting there the whole time. Like, granted, like I maybe saw like 5 of them. I don't know the whole run of what he did, and I'm pretty sure off the ones I saw that was mostly all he did. But like, It was just like, okay, I'm gonna sit next to this person. I'm gonna fuck around, make stupid ass noises, and then when they engage me, I'm gonna act like a psychopath, right? But like, if at any point they just stopped, I think he stopped as well. Like. It's just that engaging, like, people just not be, like they're taking everything to heart. Like, can you stop fucking with us? He's like, well, I mean, I'm not. Kinda, I'm being a dick, but I'm engaging you. And then you're like, okay, but you're being rude. And then he's like, okay, well, yeah, but I'm gonna be, like, darkness, that shit. And when you kind of keep going back and forth like that, if you just stop, you let them burn out a little bit, that's it. It's over. Like, you're not giving them the reaction. But for some reason, they kept giving him the reaction. And that's the part where I'm like, I almost disagree that it was harassment. It's like, okay, well, you keep going at him. Just stop. Just walk the fuck away. Unless you're sitting down at a restaurant, in which case those ones, I'm like, yeah, you
okay, wait. But if responding makes something not harassment, then doesn't that mean online harassment where a creator responds to the harassment they're getting? That means it's not harassment?
I mean, I
don't agree with that logic that responding to harassment makes harassment not harassment.
Oh no, I'm not like I'm saying in person. Online is slightly different, but even
though?
still,
How
because
is that
here's the
different,
thing:
though?
if I'm getting harassed by somebody on Twitter, like I got a guy in my YouTube right now who just insists on telling me I should go kill myself, right? The usual stuff, like your videos suck, you should go kill yourself. I open the dialogue by having responses to him. I respond to him. I'm like, all right, yeah, thank you for letting me know. Like I should go kill myself.
You're describing the exact same thing. Because if somebody's in your face with their phone, insulting you and trying to get you to respond, and you respond, you just said it's not really harassment because you responded. You continue to dialogue.
Not necessarily meaning harassment, but like it would end if I just disengage from that. If I would disengage or I block individuals or if I walk away, I'm basically negating the situation. It's kind of just like, you know, if somebody's coming up to attack you, you gotta kind of tell them in a certain way that you don't fuck with me type of thing. Mm-hmm. If somebody's coming up and just being a dick, like a goofy ass dick to you, it's like, okay, well, I'm not giving you the reaction you wanted, so I'm wasting your time, although you're being the dick to me. And then, you know, in most cases, like most of those people did, where they called the cops, I'm like, yeah, that was a fair reaction. That's a fair reaction. You shut that entire thing down by being like, here are the police officers. They will deal with you now. Please and thank you. Whereas, like, online, it's like, okay, well, if I didn't want to get the harassment, I can block you. If I didn't want to deal with people constantly harassing me like Alex was getting for the Slazo thing, you know, opinions aside right now at the moment, you know, you could have blocked every single person and just never addressed it. He said, I stuck with my opinions. Okay, bye. You didn't need to address it. If you don't address it, people lose interest pretty fast. Mostly.
I mean, regarding the Alex one in particular, it was a full month and it wasn't slowing down. I
mean, for him, because that's a different thing.
Yeah, it's your own example.
I know. It was a bad example, but I'm like, I wanted to transition into the next thing, which is why. But for him, the thing is that there's a difference between just not giving you the reaction that you want versus shutting down the conversation and pretending that nothing's wrong when clearly everything's wrong. I don't know. Like, if you went out ahead of it and maybe, like, even in the Alex situation versus Cabos, if maybe, like, the first time Cabos made a thing, Alex just went head-to-head with him, and then he just never said anything else after that point, maybe it would have been blown under the rug. Maybe nobody would have considered it. The only people who would probably care would have been fucking Keemstar. But in any circumstance where you're getting harassment, you can disengage it most of the time. Most of the time. And that's why I'm just like, if Plain Potatoes was harassing people, they could have shut it down. If Boom's harassing you, well, next thing you know, he's actively fucking with you, following you, or stealing from you. Granted, there's the theory, of course, that most of that was fake. But still, if it was real, it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's me. That's the way I approach life, man. So, because that kind of leads me into a little bit of a philosophical argument I've been having with somebody. I have to get it more constructed, the argument. But if somebody comes up to you in the street, let's say you were talking about Trump, for example. Like, Crowder's new video was, Trump is not a racist, changed my mind. And me and her were talking about this. I was trying to explain to her the concept of the video. But she was like, well, what would you do if that guy over there came up and ran up at you basically complaining about how you're saying Trump is not a racist? I'd be like, well, I can diffuse that situation. Clearly that person's deranged enough to hear some words and then immediately come up and try to, like, basically verbally assault or contend or maybe possibly fight me. But at the end of the day, if it's physical or mental or verbal, I can defend myself. So those situations are really odd where I'm like, if somebody like a Plain Potatoes individual comes up to me and is fucking with me and they got their phone all waving out, I'm like, oh, I know the routine. I know how to diffuse this. If I got a guy who's coming up to me and saying, like, give me your wallet, I'm like, I know how to diffuse the situation. If I got a guy who's like, what the fuck do you mean you voted for Trump? I know how to diffuse that situation. I'm not necessarily saying I'd win those, but, like, is it, and this is the part I'm more so asking, I'm like, do you think that's something we are lacking or people are just actively avoiding, is the ability to, like, contend? That's kind of the key word I'm looking for, is, like, people when I watch these videos from Boonk and Plain Potatoes or these prank channels or these debate channels or Change My Mind segments, they don't seem to understand the idea of having a contentment. Like you're not necessarily fighting, but you're trying to argue differences here. Go. Like, I just feel like there's a lack of that. And one of the big things with the Cabos versus I'm Alex situation as well is that if I'm Alex had just apologized and maybe gone head-to-head with Cabos and tried to put Cabos in his place, it would have been better discourse than just basically the nonstop harassment campaign that then reverted going back onto Che and Alex and all those others, as opposed to just being like, oh, we're just going to sit here and pretend it didn't happen. It's like, well, if you came out ahead, you fought your points or you fought your arguments, you constructed your real opinions first or your real ideas first, you would have come out much better than just sitting there and taking the punches. I don't know. It's kind of theoretical.
I still give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. I gave them and still kind of give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt regarding not making a statement when they initially should have. Only because if they would have made a statement then, it would have messed up with everything with VidCon, because the whole time there would have been like commentary warfare going back and forth, which there already kind of was, but then their fans would have had to be seeing that, and it's just I can understand how that would have complicated everything for everyone regarding VidCon. Don't think it necessarily makes it. Don't necessarily think it makes it better because it also kind of causes issues for Slazo during VidCon and all that. So I don't necessarily think it makes it any better, but I could understand the mentality of why they would want to wait until after VidCon when it was happening like a week or two before VidCon. I could understand why they would make that decision to hold off on making that statement until after.
And yeah, that's like a big thing I'd agree to, is because I'm like, if you waited until the end of it, you could have formulated an actual opinion now that you have both sides of the story. As opposed to being like, I'm at VidCon, I have to quickly form an opinion and make a video on it. It's like, no, you wait and make your own goddamn opinion. And just be like, look, Shay told me this, so that's what I thought. And then now that I have both sides of the story, this is what I think. Like, some people did. And some people did poorly, like Weast. But anyway.
Yeah.
But no, I just... defend yourself. If they came out swinging as a retaliatory statement, even if they were still of the same exact opinions that they've already said, they would have come out further ahead rather than just posting some twit longer and being like, hey guys, I fucked up, I'm sorry, here's my twit longer, please forgive me and forget about this in 3 weeks.
Yeah. I think the smoking gun with Alex was the fact that he contradicted himself, because he had just, what was it, like a year ago, I think, that clip from that video was... There's a clip going around from a video where he actually laid out exactly what he did that somebody found in one of his older videos. I think it was like a year ago or something. I don't know. But where he pretty much laid out the whole idea of the they make a statement, they screw up, they leave all the content up, they make a thin apology, and he described every single step, and he called it a fake apology in his own video.
Oh man. So like,
oh my word.
I didn't mean to rehash that whole situation. So, more so, I meant to talk about a podcast that he's relaunching, as we'll call it.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that situation. Because, like, every single person in the comments is like, who's the guest I should bring on? Every person is saying Slazo and Cabos. I'm like, you, it's too soon. Close it down.
Augie watched part of his podcast on his live stream and left a comment with like 40 different names, just listing people that were in his chat.
Oh my God.
But I think he started it off with Cabos, Alex. Like I had commented, so he's like, "You didn't even say your name, but I'm putting you in here." But did you heard he can't do his podcast now, right?
Oh, his laptop. Broke.
His poor laptop screen broke, which meant he lost all of his data in his hard drives. What kind of logic is that?
Will, I love you to death. I think you're funny. I think you're a smart commentator, and you understand how to like not be solely stuck in just commentary. Get away. Get the fuck away. You're next, buddy.
Oh, my word.
Run. Please.
I got two things I want to say. If Alex really doesn't realize that he can plug his laptop into a monitor when the screen is broken to be able to use his laptop, then maybe he shouldn't be on the platform.
Oh my god. And not even that. Okay, let's assume he smashed the screen, water poured in, it's dead. You know, people can take a hard drive out and stick it in another computer. Mm-hmm. Unless you magnetize the hard drive somehow. You're like, shit, I broke the screen, I spilt water, and I just happened to have this big giant magnet that wiped all the files. Fuck, guys, I am fucked.
Well, yeah, even if the laptop had actually, like, short-circuited or something, a lot of the data is probably still there, and all they have to do is probably replace a few parts in the hard drive to recover the data. There's so many different ways that you can fix that problem. And for somebody that's... I don't know. I mean, he hasn't uploaded in a while, so maybe he is short on cash. I don't know, but... Jeez.
Hey.
And I will say, I think it was... I will say, I was an avid listener of the Campcast.
Me too.
I'm not a big fan of Alex. I find a lot of what he does just kind of boring and bland, his commentary stuff, because it's that instantaneous reaction stuff where there's not much to it. It's a very thin, like, they do a lot of that, repeat whatever they said, but put a face warp on to make it sound funny because they make it look dumber than it was when the person originally said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I used to like that stuff when I first got into commentary, but I find it very thin and kind of bland now. There's a place for it, and there's some people that can do it well, but I don't think he's one that does it well in my opinion. Anyway, so my point is that I was watching it listening to the Campcast mostly for Marriott.
See, I was listening for Alex during the Campcast, but then I slowly kind of liked Marriott, but when Marriott started getting bigger, I just kind of disliked him when he started getting bigger. I don't know, he just had a weirder change in his attitude.
I don't think it's that. I think it's that. I think it's, well, it could be a little bit of that. My understanding is he's had some issues between college and his personal life. I don't know James well, personally. I don't know him personally at all. I've never DM'd him or anything, but I know I've talked to a couple people, and they have more of a connection to him and people that he knows, and it sounds like he's had a rough year, let's say.
Okay, so I gotta jump in though, because we are short on time. But I did want to bring this up, and I was withholding this one for a little bit because I was like, okay, he kind of just told me this, I think, on a whim, sure, but I'm severely disappointed. So I met up with Alex at VidCon real quick, like he was doing like a little meetup in the front of the building, and I asked him because he knows me, and he recognized me too, which I was astounded by. He was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What?" And so I asked him, like, what happened to Campcast? I mean, I realized that it was like a time thing, but was there like anything that happened? Did you guys need an editor? Because I'm free I will work for free if you guys need an editor. He literally just straight up went, "Oh, it's fucking Marriott, man." Like, I was like, what? He's like, "Yeah, it's so hard to do a podcast when you can't rely on somebody." And I just kind of took it at face value, and I was like, okay, I'm with my girlfriend. I'm not going to question this one. But when he said that, I'm like, okay, I still want to see if maybe I got a chance to work with this guy or something like that. But that was kind of like strike two, and then just strike three was this whole podcast, and then the laptop ranking, and I'm just like, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm heavily out. Yeah, I think it was Diorio. See, I don't know. It's all hearsay, but Diorio and Tommy, I think it was, on their show, we're talking about. Apparently, like, in the last year, I think his girl and him broke up. Then he started like drinking real heavily. Apparently, he missed a couple recording dates for Campcast where he like never showed up to the planned recording. And I guess Alex got extremely salty about that. I mean, they were still putting him out fairly regularly, so I can't imagine he was missing them like that frequently.
And even if they did one every 2 weeks, that's still pretty fucking frequent compared to everybody else.
Yeah. And the thing that gets me is, the thing that really gets me is, why did Alex delete all that content, or at least hide all that content, and just reuse the following that he built with Marriott? That pisses me off.
Yeah, like 100%.
And you know what's funny? Because everything was in Alex's name, I'm fairly certain he didn't even consult Marriott about it.
No.
I made a tweet. I made a tweet about it. Like when I opened my feed at work, my podcast feed at work. There's official podcast. Okay. There's Bert Kreischer or whoever the frick ever. Oh, and what is this? I never subscribed to an I'm Alex podcast. What happened? Oh, not one episode of the Campcast is left live on any platform. I think even the Campcast highlights channel is now an internet sensation highlights channel.
Yeah.
He's wiped it all. And like I said, I made a tweet pointing that out. Guess who liked it?
Oh God. No.
Marriott. He liked my tweet.
Oh my God.
Pointing out, yeah. So clearly Marriott is not happy about it either, because he was probably proud of that podcast, the episodes that they did, because it was a pretty funny podcast.
I didn't think it was that funny.
Most of the reason I thought it was funny, though, was because all the banter back and forth where Marriott was like poking fun at Alex.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I was really into. I liked that. Just kind of felt like
roasting each other.
We're both having fun and just jibbing, or what's it called, ribbing on each other.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there's clearly some hot water there.
Fuck me, man.
Yeah. If it wasn't like a public thing where he like publicly liked the tweet, I probably wouldn't say anything about it. But like that seems pretty clear to me that there's like he's not happy about the fact that Alex did that. I don't want to say there's like animosity or anything between the two of them, but that he's clearly not happy that Alex deleted all that content. It doesn't really make any sense. He's kind of just taken all the following that they had built together, and now he's going to use it for his own profit.
And on top of that, it's like you gotta realize nobody had downloads to Camcast. It's damn near extinct from the internet because Alex did it in a heartbeat. There was no prep time too.
Yep. As soon as I don't know if they found out because I tweeted it out, but Nick, as soon as he saw that it was missing, that he had rebranded all the channels, he went scouring the internet for a link and found a couple links to the playlist that housed all the podcasts, but they never finished downloading them. They only got a couple episodes or something like that. There was, from my understanding, they missed quite a few of them.
Damn. So, in other news, you're going to do a podcast with Marriott. Oh my God. No,
That'd be interesting. Especially after I just said that.
Fuck me, man. Dude, okay.
Yeah, it just, for me, here's the thing. The reason I even bring it up like that is because I can put myself in Marriott's shoes. Something I worked on with somebody that I considered a friend for a long time. Suddenly, like, I piss off my friend or whatever, and all of a sudden now they've taken all of our hard work and they're taking credit for it. Right. Essentially. That's essentially what's going on. I mean, the podcast the channel couldn't be in both their names as far as I know. One of them has to be the owner. So, I mean, it's not like, I don't know. I just not a good thing to do. Given Alex's few months that he's had.
This is like strike 10, and I'm like, okay, I went to VidCon with the full intention of being like, all right, I'm going to hand out some cards to these scummy fucks and see who wants to, out of that whole group, and see who's interested in maybe making a couple bucks. And I'm just like, well, none of them contacted me, and that's fine, because I still work. If Alex contacted me and said, hey, I need money because I'm fucking broke, my laptop broke, so I'm obviously poor now, I would still kind of help him out, but I'm like, how much fuck up can you do? Keem is like on fuck up number like 3, 4, like major fuck ups. But still, at the end of the day, if he even does a minor thing, everyone's on his ass, including I'm Alex. I'm Alex has done like fucking 10 of these things, like these big royal, like, oh, I may have actually done some damage. Skirt, pretend, it didn't happen. I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? No, that video never existed. What? Like, I'm out.
I mean, to be honest, to be fair though, I think part of the reason King gets more heavy criticism is because he's so heavily critical of people.
Oh yeah.
And he refers to himself as a news channel, not a drama channel necessarily, but a news channel.
Yeah.
So if you're a news channel, quote unquote, and you're a hypocrite and you're contradicting yourself, which he does fairly frequently, I could see why he would get more flack. Whereas I'm Alex is just a commentator. He's not like talking about news or anything. He doesn't claim to be a news source or anything like that. So when he makes small mistakes like that, it's not as big a deal because like he's a hypocrite or contradicted himself here or there, but he's mostly just kind of goofing on something. So I think that distinction is the reason for that a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it also comes down to the leafy-dom. You got too many young fans who can't see past that surface level. Which, by the way, I will fully agree with you in saying that I'm like, his content's trash. Like, the hyper reactionaries, the Reddit reviewer channels, it's terrible content. They fucking know it is. And I hate this whole, like, blinders are on, like, no, we're really awesome. And it's like, you realize the people who are telling your content are awesome are too fucking retarded to know what a good video actually looks like, because all they do every day is watch your shitty regurgitated opinion videos. Like,
well, from what I've gathered from talking to people that do that kind of content and people that know people that do that kind of content, right? A lot of those guys know that it's not, like, they know it's simple. They know there's not much to it. They're basically just read it. Like, even Boblax, he's been self-aware joking about, like, he even changed his YouTube description to I read tweets. Because he mostly just does that now. But, like, I wish I could do that kind of thing, where I just kind of read something and have very minor reactions to it. But my focus is, like, on entertaining, and I don't find that stuff entertaining. So I feel like that's because there's not enough to it, you know? I feel like I'm not adding anything. I'm just reading something somebody else did.
But here's the thing.
If it was something like where it's like fan interaction or something like PewDiePie does with Yai, where it's like people are contributing to this knowing that that's like what's going to happen with it. Like, that's different. No, but if it's just somebody reading Reddits or something, like I don't get it. I don't get it.
You gotta understand though. You have to be aware. You have to be understanding that it's like, yes, this is low effort. This is not really good stuff. But here's what you do. You interlace the good shit in between. Why do you think, like, iDubbbz is still kind of skirting by? I'm even putting him on my shit list because it's like he would still kind of skirt around, make some goofy, silly videos, and then a content cop drops. Like, people gotta know that it's like, you're giving us shit so you can stay afloat, but we know at some point the payout will happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why, like, I wish I could get past that mentality I have, because it's not that I have a problem with people that make that kind of content. It's just for me mentally, I know I'm not putting enough effort in if I'm doing that. Like, if I had like all the free time, like if I was like a full-time YouTuber or something, I would like guaranteed make some kind of second channel, or I would focus on streaming it when I'm not recording a video or something.
Right. Like
I would definitely do something a little more low effort to allow me to have time and income still while I'm making the bigger effort content. I wouldn't necessarily put it on my main channel, but I would still want to do something. But like I've tried, like I think I told you before, I was for a while there, I was playing Minecraft in a solo world when Minecraft started popping off, and I was going to use just all this gameplay and just record a bunch of Minecraft like reaction commentary type stuff, like people would do Fortnite and all that, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Like it would have been super simple. Take like an hour to record it maybe.
Oh yeah.
But I'm so dedicated to making sure I have my focus on like getting stories right and things like that, and I don't pick on anybody that for something too minor or whatever. But realistically, who cares?
Well, and I think that's fair to say, But here's
That's why it would have been second channel content, by the way.
Well, I mean, even still, you can do it as first channel for a while. Once you really get established, then you kind of offset it to second channel because you're like, look, guys, I'm Mr. Beast. These videos cost me fucking $10,000 each a pop to make, so I make Mr. Period Beast as my funding for that secondary or for the primary. Like, it makes sense. People aren't stupid. They really aren't. You got children who are like, yes, we realize that we're being fed bullshit. We like the bullshit, though, because that's what we've come to expect from you. But when you get somebody like iDubbbz, who is making that pristine content, or you get somebody like, oh, wow, I'm blanking on the fucking name. Oh, my God. They came out with a video recently and said, oh, the reason I don't make videos is because I get so high. Or, JonTron. It was JonTron. He's like, oh, yeah, I get you people post and tell me that you need more videos. And then when I post something that's not up to par, I get panicked because I'm like, oh, God, it's not good enough. Like, so I just end up not uploading. And it's like, yeah, I can. Those are the extremes. You got to come in the center. Just feed a steady stream of bullshit, but basically promise to your viewers, it's like, yeah, the payout's coming. It's got to be right there. And you're going to fucking love it because it's weeks of effort put into this, or like a week of effort put into this.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to start trying to do the news videos again, like bi-weekly or something like that. Like somebody suggested bi-weekly, and as long as there's enough stuff that I can do it, yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. Because I mean, like realistically, the news style videos that I do, like they don't do very well in views, but it's something simple. I basically just doing weekend update.
Yeah,
it's basically SNL's weekend update on my channel, and they're kind of fun to do. If I can find like a funny gimmick or something to do, like the one with Prank Invasion, and Jeff Bezos' wife, where the whole gag was the entire time I'm getting ready for a date with Jeff Bezos' wife.
Right. Well, that's
like that kind of stuff is fun to do, and it's not hard to plan. But
you got to be able to make it fast, though, and that's
exactly.
that's the hard part I find, because I did the whole trying to reaction commentary for a little bit, is that if you can do the gimmick weekend roundup, like the day after something happens and have it uploaded the day after, like, I don't know, like the day that Jeff Bezos broke up with his wife, like the next day, if you had that video out, even if it's low quality, but it follows that trend, it will do fine in the algorithm. It always does. You just have to find that topic and get it out fast. Like, you know, us talking about this stuff is like, by the time it comes out, it's going to be like 6 days removed. It's really not going to do well.
Yeah,
So,
I think for the most part you're good if you get it out within like 4 days to a week for the most part.
Yeah.
But you're still not going to do great numbers. Like somebody told me recently that I should cut back on the editing a bit, cut back on the scripting a bit, and just kind of do more of like a drama news show. But the problem is that would take away everything that makes me stand out, I think. Is the extra effort I put in. So, I mean, like, while I enjoy doing the news, like, mashup videos that I do, like, every commentator pretty much had done and kind of stopped doing. Because, like, Pyro stopped doing his for the most part. He just kind of does regular... I guess that's, like, the only thing he does now, but it's not the same format.
He makes trash now.
He doesn't really talk about... Yeah, it's like he just kind of talks about a thing or two, but it's not... I don't know, it's completely changed. Like, he doesn't do ASOT the way he used to, which was his news show, basically. PewDiePie doesn't do his news show. Ray Gun Recap, that hasn't been a thing in a while. Yeah, I don't know. But my last news video, I don't know, I wasn't totally happy with it, but I got it out in 2 days. Like, that only took about 2 days to do. So that one I was happy with. If I can get a news video out, 2 days after the topics break. The problem is you're always going to have a couple topics that aren't as much fun to make fun of. So unless you take like 3 days worth of topics and then make them in 2 days, so then your oldest topic is like 5 days old.
Yeah.
So it's still not terrible, but the quality of the content's what's important. I mean, not the number of views or anything. Yeah,
and I think that's a smart strategy for when you start off. Once you get like, oh, every video I'm uploading is getting 5,000 views, you kind of have to feed the trolls. You kind of have to.
Oh, yeah.
But...
Oh, yeah.
I hate that I have to do this, but I'm like, we are out of time. We actually have to cut off, which sucks, but, I think it's actually kind of a good thing to be like, we still have more shit to talk about, but we're out of time.
I think we actually did better this time than we normally do in terms of number of topics we covered.
Yeah, we got through, well, fucking fast as hell, man. What's wrong with you? Why are we talking so fast? No, on that note, I did want to wrap up by just simply saying, I got some opinions. Granted, I might be a little heated at the moment because I'm just sad and highly stressed out, so some more truth is coming out than it should be. But at the end of the day, if anybody is like, sitting there being like, oh, why are you working with this person you denounced? Well, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. Business is business. They don't fucking hire CEOs because they have good feelings. They hire CEOs because they can get fucking money. And that's just at the end of the day what I'm looking for is I want to have a stable income on this platform. So I apologize for getting a little heated.
Yeah, and you're not exactly talking about Weinstein or anything.
Yeah. Just more people are like, you're a pedo, and then somebody goes, but I'm not. And then it's like, okay.
Yeah, if Toby Turner came to you and said, hey, I'm making a comeback, what do you do?
I'd work with Toby Turner.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of definitive, like there's some definitive scummy stuff, but I don't think it was ever proved any of the sexual assault or anything like that they claimed.
And that's the big problem is like there's not much proof. It's a very gray area, but yeah. I'm not putting my stamp and my name and saying, oh, I worked with Toby Turner. Wanna hire me? But yeah. I'd work with the guy. I'd be like, hey, if anything happens, I will cut ties with you because I'm not about to work with a scumbag. But there's nothing proven against you, so let's do it.
I think that transparency is what's important in that kind of situation on your end.
Well, because, I don't know. I just hear of like things like, oh, why is the CEO cutting jobs? Do you realize that, or why is this company using tax loopholes and like funneling their money to the Bahamas? It's like, okay, you don't do any good by just not taking advantage of the systems that are in place. If I find people like I'm Alex, who the public perception is they're shitty people, and I'm like, well, they're still able to do YouTube and entertain millions of people. People still want to see those videos. Why not fill it? Unless they're actually a danger, in which case, change what the fuck you're doing. They're a danger. Yeah, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I don't know. But on that note, I'm gonna wrap up here. Hopefully, with your vacation when it's done, and my stress-induced coma that'll be coming, we'll be able to do more episodes, which would be nice.
Yeah.
All right. Hitting the